Alright, let's head out. Sea of Lilies, somewhere into the east. Let's see if there's actually a port over there. Oh, that's a bound shark. I don't see a port. But also, I don't see really anything. Oh, this shark is way too close. Oh, there is something over here. Look at that. Oh, for Christ's sakes. No, don't do it, shark. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Oh my god, he missed. That was freaking lucky. Oh, he's not gonna miss this time. Oh. Alright. I crashed, but also I caused him to crash into the island. So we're good. Let's get the hell out of here. God, these bound sharks are awful. Alright, let's see what's in port, shall we? The prison walls are mercilessly steep. Wisdom. Nutmid built this place as a prison for the Khanate. Now it answers only to its governor, and its governor answers to no one. Hand over a prisoner. Well, we don't have a prisoner. Exchange a secret for a prisoner. Well, I don't want to use a secret or a searing enigma. File a port report. Sure. Not so many goings. Ships from the Khanate are most common, but you see Shelonite vessels, Polythrem Tyramids with chained and sulky unfinished men, corsairs disposing of their miscreants, even one furtive Irami skiff. The wardens pay them well for their prisoners. So does everyone just drop their prisoners here? That seems like a bad idea, so let's not do that. That's way too expensive. Alright, let's set off and get the hell away from that shark. Oh, looks like I found something. Visage. Oh, it's a giant face. That's normal. Alright, let's try to dock before they get a shot off. Oh, they missed. Thank God. Hide your face. Hide all your faces. Visage. This is the port of Visage, where faces may not be naked, except one, a stone monument the size of a village church, serenely gazing upwards, flourishing of years. Let's create a port report. That will have to do. A departing merchant gives you a confused account of crocodiles and honey cakes, and something about ear blockage. To this you add your own impressions about the street layout close to port and the types of commerce here. When the lights are especially bright, it is possible to make out the details of the profile of that great stone face. Alright, let's go ashore. You may be here for a while, okay. Terms. All those who enter must play their parts. The sign is visible only after you've crossed the threshold. On the lower slope, stone buildings, flat roofs, archways. In the architecture there lingers a memory of lotus and palm frond. The hill from its face, forever looking up at the ceiling into the undersea. No one inhabits its cheeks or hollows of its eyes. Check in the customs house. One may not wander Visage at will. Fair. A changing room. All visitors must pass one by one through a room guarded by a person in the mask of a moon moth. Masks is an assortment of shapes and colors. Ask the significances of the masks. I should probably do that. Assorted pestilences. Moonmoth explains, each mask declares a different intention towards the denizens of Visage, and must be accompanied by suitable behavior. The frog is for visitors who, through perhaps clumsy and unfamiliar with local etiquette, have come in order to observe local ways and make uncouth comments about them. The locust is for those who seek profit in Visage, and would carry away as many goods as possible. You prompt about the bat. The moon moth hesitates. Bat is an ill-omened visitor, sent as a messenger or a spy. Bat always dies. Well, That does sound fun. I think we go locust for profit, I think. Yeah. Hunger for all things. Moonmoth settles the locust mask over your head. The eye holes are covered with a thin gold film, through which valuable objects gleam more brightly. May you find a happy harvest, says Moonmoth. Then, when you have partly turned away, it double knots the ties on its purse, as though you're likely to pick its pockets. Doesn't it know you can see it? That's kind of funny. On the lower slopes, stone buildings, flat roofs, archways, and the architecture here lingers the memory of lotus and palm frond. Yeah. Visit the flood court. The Moonmoth speaks as though you should already know what that is. The flood court is a long stone room with 2 ranks of columns on each side. Currently, the court is ankle deep in water. The water stains on the stone show that the flood has often reached higher, sometimes up to the height of your waist. In a raised niche at the far end of the room, it sits a statue of a man with the head of a ram. He holds a jar from which water flows out onto the floor. Moonmoth stands to one side as your escort and tour guide. Ask about the purpose of this room. It doesn't really look like it's good for anything. Death per day. From a corner, Moonmoth picks up a graduated stick. He shows you how a person standing at the end of the room may dip the stick in the water and use it to measure the water level at a pre-selected point, and how the measurements are compared with measurements written on a calendar. If the water level does not match the calendral position, an assembly of pipes and drains is used to adjust it. It used to be, says the moth, that the water rose and fell of its own accord, and the people before wrote down what height it reached. Now the water is still, but thanks to their actions, we can replicate the rise and fall, so as still to be pleasing to the god of flood. It completes this explanation with a half-body bow towards the statue of the ram deity. Interesting. That does not sound like a good idea. Study the calendars drawn on the walls. Say how much you like the pool. The way the surface of the water is so still, even a few inches from where it's being poured in. Impressive. Strange. Not for you. The Moonmoth looks around while you speak. Several of the other masks heard you. What are you, a bat? It seems like this is not the sort of thing that locusts are supposed to say, supposed to think. Your role is desire and acquire, not to notice, not to exclaim, not to feel joy or admiration or dread. 2 hours later, you're back in the docks, half naked, your locust mask on, and with it, a strange glittering tint that it casts on the whole world. You'll remember that. Weird. Okay. Weird, so you have to act in your... So I should have collected gold, because then people would be like, oh, yeah, that's, it's the mask they took. Weird. Okay. Let's continue. Try to find a couple more shores. Oh, Nuncio. I need to be here, actually. For a delivery, I think. That was a long time ago. I'm surprised I even remembered that. Do not return, sender. Nuncio, taciturn functionaries walk the docks in uniforms of postmen. An enormous crowned statue casts chilling shadows. The shadows gleam with rats' eyes. Their ceaseless chittering rolls like the tide. Deliver the Thelordmc. The drowny postman will take care of the paperwork. Make sure you have 9 inches cargo space in your cargo hold. Yeah, I do. Sure. Oh, shit, you have 9 bale of parallel linen. Except in possessing. The drowny postman gestures to a modest pyramid of cargo behind him. Accept this as thanks and an apology. I told a small line. I labeled the package myself, my lord, to avert a great disaster. Our king keeps a discreet accord with the flukes, on which I maintain their dead must be appropriately disposed of using the traditional manner. If this were 10 years ago, perhaps the boy could have kept it, but since the Thelordmc were taught ambition, they are best not antagonized. I will deliver this corpse to my liege. I have doubt if I have doubt this chef will prepare it most respectfully. Wild. Okay. Assemble a port report. Sure. There's a statue in the middle of the island that's hard to miss. There's a way everyone wears a uniform, and the way they call each other by their rank at the postal service. There's a way the port authorities refer to regulations. There's the jargon, the curious habit of referring to any used up thing as cancelled, as though the whole world were made of stamps. You write about vestigial bureaucracy and about trappings of order retained far from home. Alright, let's go to the Postman's Tavern. Warmer inside than it looks. Faces are turning your direction, but no one seems surprised to have a new arrival on the island. Lit by two roaring fires, one at each end of the room, the bartender is in postman's uniform, like almost all of the patrons. A noseless postal inspector called Blunt Thomas delivers the drinks, clears tables, stacks the firewood. Allow the Caladri heir to offer services. She could remove the call from a postal worker. They shouldn't be a worker anymore, of course. Sure. The hairless postman won't hear of it. But you do get one talker. I miss London, he says. I'm tired. The inside of my mouth tastes like stamp glue. Blunt Thomas gives you a bottle of rum and the use of the basement. No amenities, but I don't fancy cleaning the blood off a better floor. The patient takes off his uniform for the last time and lies on the cold floor. No spectator, says the Caladri heir harshly and puts you out of the room. She comes out later with a scrap of skin for the patient's chest. The patient follows, whistling a tune from a mahogany hall. You now have one Caladri souvenir. You now have one Caladri treatment, Nuncio. Huh. Wild. Go to the Postman Tavern. Interesting. Listen in on... No, because that's going to give me a story. Ask why the local currency consists of rats. 2 strings of rats for a pint of ale, 3 strings for a wine, taller brandy under the bar. Yeah, why is it? Scarcity is not an issue. The hairless postwoman at the end of the bar smiles mirthlessly. Or perhaps it's just the lack of eyebrows that does it. Long enough carrying the things around, you get into the habit, she says. Then she tells you that if you stay out late enough, you'll see some of the postmen making a procession to the center of the island, stringing up rats around the statue like Yuletide decorations, in prayer to an ancient deity of this place. From the coughing and choking elsewhere in the pub, you'd guess this is a story they often tell the newcomers. Okay. Ask why the hairless postwoman is hairless. Legacy of the interesting explosive package, maybe? Fox pass. No, she says. Curt, not pleased you asked. Still had eyebrows when I came to Nuncio. The postman at the next bench diverts you, speaking in a low voice. Lots of people find habits when they can't deliver the post anymore. This one has a plucking habit. Best learn not to notice. You glance up, the hairless postwoman is still glaring at you. Well... fair enough. Listen in on postal tall tales. Amazing what you can get for a penny stamp. Delicate bottles lowered down chimneys on a row. Do not fold under any circumstances. Letters curled through a narrow slot. Rattling, groaning crates brought back to the same address every day for 22 days running. The windows they pried open. The servants they bribed. The delivery surcharges they paid out their own salaries just to get rid of one more packet. It is hard to tell which they hate more, the senders of the mail or the recipients. Stands to reason, if the message was a welcome one, they'd tell the other fellow in person, reflects the hairless postwoman. Yeah, that's probably fair. Ask what the big statue in the center of town is. If there was a guidebook for visitors, it would have to be the first entry. The monumental postman. Oh, that! It's all of us, isn't it? Sort of the spirit of the island. Most of them don't seem troubled for more of an explanation than that. The letter's postwoman tells you it didn't always look like a fallen London postman at all, that it used to have a different face and a more old-fashioned outfit. Okay. Ask how they occupy themselves all day. There must be more than this. Dead letter office, big building, center of town, hard to miss. You can work there too if you want. It's not clear whether this is a generous offer or a threat. Yeah, fair. Back to the docks. Let's explore along the beach. Shifty going, the rocks slip and slither underfoot, but you keep your balance. Collect material for the dead letter office. Argue with the man holding a broom. Assist a man holding the broom. Interesting. Shoving letters into the sea keeps shoving them back. That's where all this floatsman belongs, so it can be sorted. I'll collect material for the dead letter office, sure. Alright. You make your way along the shore with a big sack. Many of the envelopes are too damp to read. Their address permanently lost, but a surprising number are still legible. There are also parcels. Here and there is a crate, a message, and a wine bottle, a sealed cask that is bobbed up out of a shipwreck. Your sack ought to get heavy with all these contents, but it pulls upwards and away, straining island towards the dead letter office, like an unmanageable dog. Weird, okay. My current Nuncio learned in Post Secrets Quality 2. Familiar with the pull. You've now dead post. Okay, let's go back to the docks. Try to shift to the dead letter office. There's a sign of a cancelled stamp over the door. Extensive tour. Blunt Thomas takes you around the office. A small collection room where those retrieving letters may state their business, and much larger set of back offices where newly arrived letters and parcels are collected and sorted. A dank, briny smell that never goes away, presumably because so many of the parcels spent time in the water before they arrived here. In the back room is a machine manned, ratted, by a postal rat. A rat is favored in a pinstriped hat. It shoves sludge damp letters into the machine's hopper, and they come out dry, clean, pressed, and sorted into slots by size and quality of paper. One is ratius possible occupations here. None could be described as fast-paced. Various. Let's converse with the postal rat. How did he get to this line of work? Coltish. The postal rat has a pair of spectacles on and is re-lettering the front of water-damaged envelope. Working with the original letters with a tiny brush and ink pot, the repairs are likely to take most of the afternoon. I like to think of myself as being in the resurrection business, he says, stopping to look at you seriously for a moment. Where circumstances permit, taking the dead letters and making them alive again. Doesn't often work, but when it does, a miracle. Okay. Feed your undelivered letters into the sorting machine. 52 categories. After prolonged whirring, the machine begins to distribute 7 invitations edged in gilt from the correspondence of the aristocrats he slot, 2 oversized parcels, probably containing books, into the books tray, 1 stamped bronze tablet that drops with a clang into a bin marked First City. Postal rat watches all this with an air of satisfaction. Currents, your Nuncio worker is quality 3, experienced shift worker. Bolt's information hasn't changed because it's higher than 3. Okay. End your shift. Return to the docks. Weird. Could I just... Odd. Okay. So study the odd currents here. The water that brings floatsmen ashore does not follow the usual patterns. Sure, I'll try. It's no use. A few hours of exploration, of squinting out at sea, flinging shiny floats in the water produces no better understanding than before. Well, oh well. Wait, can I just do it again? Oh, I can. On all sides, you make a complete circuit of the island. The whole shoreline is alike, all of it covered in debris, all of it washing steadily inland from every direction. Not the sort of directional current. Not the work of some directional current. It's more as though the whole undersea were draining into Nuncio. Except, of course, that force did not affect your ship. when you came this way, it does not stop ships from leaving. Evidently, it only works on the post. Weird. Okay. Alright, maybe I'll come back here and do some more stuff, but for now, I think that's good. Let's see what's over here in the darkness, and then we'll go over here, see if we can find anything else. Hey, thanks for watching till the end. If you enjoyed watching, hit that like button, let me know how you feel in the comments below. And if you want more of me, feel free to subscribe. On screen are a couple videos I personally enjoy. I hope you're having a good day. Take it easy.